Welcome back. I'm delighted to be joined once again by unbeaten light heavyweight. Are you a prospect? Are you a contender, Josh?
Boy, that's a good question. I think it's open to different opinions, but I'm still learning, man. So I don't know what to call it, but I'm still learning. I've done the British level. Still people in Britain that I'd want to mix it up with though, but I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because we spoke, myself and Ade, who co-hosted the podcast today, and we kind of spoke about, particularly nowadays with your Lomachenko's after 3 fights wants to win a world title, and you've got like the Eastern Bloc fighters who are coming out of the amateurs, and just because they've had 2 or 3 fights doesn't necessarily make them prospects. And likewise, you've got fighters who have had 20, 30, 40 fights, doesn't necessarily make them contenders. I would probably say fringe world level contender.
Reckon? I'll take that.
Yeah.
Until I fight someone who is world level and I get that win, I'd almost say I'm not at that level yet. That's what I'd say. On paper, I would say I'm not. Ability wise, I'd think I'm past British level definitely.
Let's just expand on that because, it's an interesting one, and we'll mention Anthony Yarde's name now so we don't kind of leave it until the end because it will hover around. And we're kind of going back about 12, 18 months, kind of the pre-Kovalev Anthony Yarde. Everybody was kind of saying, look, you need to step up, you need to fight a British title level, a European title level. He went and done that. He came up short against Sergey Kovalev. Yeah. Now you've been out of the ring for over a year now, which I know we spoke that that's not how you want things to go. It's now coming around where, you are you're 27 now. You're not spring chicken anymore. And you have this elite level, certainly potential and ability, but for one reason or another have not had the fights to really get you into that position yet. Do you think that's a fair comment?
Yeah, it is. So I think, again, Yarde, people said, box world level, do this, do that, or bridge the gap or whatever it is. But I think everyone's got a different approach. For me, his approach was different, and it almost paid off. Just fell short. So I won't question, whatever route he took or whatever. And for me, I haven't boxed for over a year, as we said. Now Calic is 11-0. I'm 12-0. But if we look at it from the amateurs, he's been around well before myself. He's boxed in the World Series boxing. He's done APB, which is 8 to 12 rounds. They're basically pro fights anyways. So he's got experience in that field. Is he a world level opponent? I wouldn't say he is. No, he's not a world level opponent. Someone that's got, like I said, a lot of experience. But I believe once I'm in there, I'll be in there to win it. There's so much to think of, but it's fight week. Do you know what I mean? So I'm quite narrowing what I'm thinking. It's hard for me to even talk about anything else but this, and to think about anything else. But I'm boxing Sunday against Calic, and that's what I'm going to deal with.
I know you well enough to know that at this point there's no point in branching out, which is why I got it out of the way first and foremost. A little bit, I know, but yeah. I understand you're very much tunnel vision. Do you think with regards to your opponents, you've mentioned Calic there, obviously he's no fool. He's been around, he's boxed in the World Series of Boxing, extensive amateur background at a certain level. But do you feel like because of the success that you've had and the ability that you've clearly shown in a very short space as a professional, do you feel like you're potentially measured a little bit differently because of that stuff?
I think if you go to the Olympic Games, you are. If you win a medal, people put a lot more. There's a lot more expectation on you, and I always think coming up in the amateurs, the people with these opinions weren't there, and we still found our way to the top. Now that they're there, I'm still going to find my way to the top. So there's not going to be a clear-cut route, as in take this, then that, then you get there. Nah, it's professional boxing. There's different ways to it. Whereas amateur boxing, it's like, okay, cool, you want to get to the Olympic Games. If you're from the continent of Europe, then you go to the European Games, see how well you do. Then you move on to the World Championships, then you go to the Olympic Games. So it's a bit more straightforward how to do that one. But in professional boxing, as we know, there's 5 world titles in each weight category. And it's just different routes. Like I said, you can dominate at British level and skip European level and go straight to world level. Someone may just go straight to European level. As you said, some amateurs go straight to world level. So there's just different routes, man. And it's not that it's not for me to say which one I'm taking, but I take it day by day, fight by fight. And when the doors open and everything, I'm sure I'll take them.
Talk to me about fight week preparation. One of the things I'm always really keen to pry into with you is how you are in fight week. One of the things that potentially people who are watching this don't necessarily know is that it's quite normal for you to spar during fight week.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, because that's not the same for a lot of fighters.
No, so I sparred on Friday just gone. Today's Monday. I'm boxing on Sunday. If I were boxing on Saturday, I'll just spar tomorrow. But I'm boxing on Sunday, so I'm going to spar on Wednesday. Why is that for me? I just like to... It's what we're going to do. It's what I'm going to do, let's say, in a few days' time. So I sparred on Friday. It's a very long time for me personally to just sit down and to just hit the bags, hit the pads, shadow box, kill time, and not physically mimic what I could potentially be doing in a few days' time. So it's very important for me. If I had my way, Rob, I'd spar on a Thursday, rest on Friday, box on Saturday. But to an extent, my coaches are like, nah, it's too far out. Even for them letting me do it on a Tuesday, they're scratching their heads thinking, what is he doing? But I'm like, nah, I'm cool. Like, I spar my sparring partner, Dwayne. We've been doing it for years. So I know he knows how to handle what we're doing, so do I. So I try not to spar outside him, because other people, I don't know what they're going to be like. It might be a hard spar. I did it once before one of the fights. I had a hard spar, then I had to fight, and I was like, what was the point of that? So I should have just sparred someone that I know, like Dwayne. I've been sparring him for years. So I like to, like I said, keep my body fresh, my mind fresh. Spar on a Tuesday. If I had my way, it would be on a Thursday. Rest Friday, box Saturday. But Tuesday's good enough.
It's probably worth pointing out that we're not advocating gym wars on a Tuesday, and it's certainly not the way that you go about things, but having more of a move around and kind of, adding a bit of grease to the engine. I would say something like that.
Yeah, Rob. By all means, it's no wars. For the X amount of runs that I do, Rob, I may not even punch. It's just to move about, just to say, okay, cool, my hands are good, my guard is good, my reflexes are there. So it may not even be anything heavy. You might watch and think, oh, what was the point of that? But for me, it's something, and that's everything.
Vary from fight to fight. Sometimes closer to the fight, you feel that you may need that type of spars. Other types.
No, it's always all the same type of like easygoing spar. Little touches. You won't see much. I'll probably look terrible as well. I don't expect to look good on that Tuesday before the fight. So these are little things I've gotten used to. Yeah.
Going into this fight, obviously, this is a different kettle of fish for everybody. I mean, the kind of thinking about the wider things of what we're going through as a world, as a planet at the minute with COVID-19 and the restrictions that are going to be in place. How do you envision that changing your process throughout fight week? Again, like, we've spoken in the past about your meticulous, something like that. You like things a certain way throughout fight week. How do you envision that changing with this, and how are you going to deal with that?
I think I'm going into it, so it's going to be a day-by-day thing, but as always, there's someone that's going to be there that's going to try to win. And for me to make sure I get in, then I get my job done. It may be a bit quieter than usual. There's no crowd. Fight week, I don't know how busy it's going to be, because everyone has to be in the bubble, and if you're not in the bubble, then I guess you're not going to have the access to interview the fighters and stuff like that. So that'll be different, but I'll be around people that I've been around like all training camp. So it's just about killing time, doing the most with that time, and just more time to mentally get ready for the fight. Because all the hard work's been done now, all the physical work's been done now. So it's just about making the weight, staying strong, and then going in there to fight.
When I came up to see you in Sheffield a few weeks ago, obviously in the middle of camp, coming towards the end of the camp, but you were certainly very much in camp at that point. Yeah. And we spoke about kind of the time that you've allowed yourself, that you've allocated yourself during the pandemic, and the time for reflection, really. How do you imagine that is going to change your approach to fight week this week? Will it change it at all? Do you feel any different coming into a fight week this week as you would have done pre-COVID?
No, I don't. That's probably because I'm still in London now, Rob. I haven't gone into the bubble yet. So I think probably when I'm in the bubble and that, do you know what? There's going to be so many things that I might be like, whoa, this is a bit different. That's this. I'm not used to this. I'm not used to that. But ultimately, it's to make sure that come Sunday, I've done whatever I need to do, that I've changed things and put things the way they have to be, so that when I get in the ring on Sunday, I'm like, cool, that's all done. Like, everything is geared up for Sunday to me. So it's not for me to go there and be like, oh, this is different, that's not different, this, that. it is what it is. We rock and roll with it. So that's kind of like where my mind's at.
Talk to me about pressure, Josh. Doesn't necessarily mean now, but throughout your career, how have you dealt with pressure, whether it's as an amateur, whether it's turning over and making your professional debut, or now ahead of Sunday, topping the bill?
Apparently, pressure creates diamonds. Not apparently, it does. A quote that I always remember is what Eubank Senior said, and he said you have to thrive under pressure. So to an extent, you got to embrace it. It's part of this whole thing. There's pressure from left, right, centre. So that pressure is there, and then there's also the pressure that I put on myself. And then I think that pressure is the greatest pressure ever, and that's the most pressure. So that's the one that I kind of concentrate on, what I put on myself, my expectations, what I think I'm going to do, how this fight should go, how it shouldn't go. And that's the pressure that's on me, because that one I live with. The other pressures, they're there, but you can exit, you can just cross it all out in that. But that for me is the greatest pressure. But I think pressure is good. There's always been pressure from the amateurs, like you said, representing Great Britain, going to the Olympic Games, going to other tournaments. There's always pressure, but we deal with it. We come out on top. So pressure is good. It's always there. And I think pressure is what gets you out of bed as well, to make sure you're running, sparring, getting shouted at in the gym. Because no one likes to get shouted at, but if my trainer's shouting, I know it's for a good reason. Like, I'll be like, cool, I can take it. Outside the ring, I may not take it, but inside a boxing gym or inside boxing, when I'm being taught or being corrected to make sure I'm doing the right thing, because this is a life-threatening sport, I'm like, cool, I could take it. But outside the ring, no one really shouts, so everything's cool. But pressure's always there. It is what it is.
That obviously comes with the job of being a professional prize fighter, or back when you're an amateur, a boxer representing your country. Talk to me about pressure in your personal life. What pressure do you put on yourself? I know that you're a very religious man. I know that you are a family man. I've seen you with your cousins and with your family around. Do you put pressure on yourself to perform for them, or put pressure on yourself, not just Joshua Buatsi the boxer, but Joshua Buatsi the person?
I think there's pressure in the sense that, so the ones I put on myself is like, okay, cool, I'm boxing. I got to make sure that I'm safe, because I'm a brother, I'm an uncle, a son, X, Y, and Z, all of that. My family's quite important to me. There's also pressure in a sense that I think this is a talent that I've got. We've all got talents and different fighters and everything, and I think this is what I've been given. So this is what I've got to work with. So when it's all said and done, I could say, do you know what? This talent that I had, I did this with it. This is what I did with it. You question people, you write up about people, you do your research about boxing. I couldn't do what you do, but that's what you do. So when it's all said and done, you want to sit down, Rob, and be able to say, do you know what? I interviewed all these great boxers. I found out this and that. I went to the training camps. I learned this about this sport, X, Y, and Z. So you can sit down and be content. So for me, the pressure to say that, yeah, I'm not somewhere else doing another thing while I had this talent and I could have been using it. So that's quite important to me, to make sure that I'm using what I've got. So when it's all said and done, I can say, do you know what? I gave boxing an attempt. I had X amount of fights. I won this, I won that. So that's pressure as well. I would say those are the two greatest pressures, yeah. Using what I've got, and just people around me. There's people around me that I want to make proud. And with boxing comes a platform and a kind of income where you can better things, you can enhance things. So that for me is quite important, very, very important.
That's something that I kind of wanted to talk about. I don't want to pry too much, because I understand that you've done your own work recently with the Black Lives Matter movement and work that you've done yourself. So I don't want to pry too much, but obviously being sort of a beacon really in your own community of what you can do and what you can achieve throughout hard work and what you can be, no matter where you come from or what you do or what chances that you give yourself or other people give to you.
Yeah.
How important is that for you, and how important is it for you to be there and to be an inspiration and be an example to people in your own community?
It's important because so like I came from Ghana to England, came to the land of opportunity, and I always say this, and I thank my parents for being able to make that happen. And it's good that I can sit back and say, okay, cool, I do boxing now, this is what I've achieved. But also, Rob, other people have to look at my situation and be like, oh, this guy came from Ghana, came to England, had nothing, started something, whether it's boxing, music, whatever it is, started something, and now he's getting up there. He's not there yet, but he's made something of it. And I think it's important for other kids to see that he's from Croydon. Normal guy, went to high school, went to college, uni, whatever it is, and it's doing well and it's doing well in an industry. Because I think I used to watch other people on TV and be like, imagine you're representing your country, you're fighting, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're a superhuman. And I used to think that's happening to them, but it can't happen to anyone like myself or anyone around me. Then you start winning and you do well, and you're thinking it's very, not that it's very normal, because there's a heavy price to pay for all of this success. There's a heavy, heavy price. Let me not just say that, it's okay to want to do well and that's it. No, there's a heavy price to pay. But once you pay that price, it can happen to you. So I want people to know that it's achievable. It's not out of sight. Like you can reach it. It can happen to them. It's really not something that's unrealistic. It's very, very, very realistic. I want to place so much emphasis on how realistic it is. I've been to uni, I've got a degree, and I'm boxing. I'm not the cleverest of people, but people should think Josh has got a degree and he boxes. If I'm able to do it, they can definitely do it. Time, just being organised with your time, knowing when to work, when not to work, and just grafting at your sports or whatever it is. So I want people to be like, he done it. He's not the cleverest of people, but he done it, so I can do it too. So it's really that simple.
I think you're very clever.
Thanks, Rob. I'll take that.
What's the biggest sacrifice that you've made?
I think my teenage years. So teenage years was just boxing. Like literally from 15 onwards. 15 onwards, you can't say, I saw Josh at this place. We did this, we did that. Nah, 15 onwards, it was always in a boxing gym all the time. Some holidays, you can't say, he was chilling on, I was with everyone on the blocks or in the estate or on this and that. No, I was always in a boxing gym. So I think that's the most, that for me was the biggest thing. And family events as well. Not going to family events because I'm either not in the country, not in the city, or because I'm dieting or I'm at a boxing match, all of that. So that, I'll say those are the main two things. But as a teenager, I remember, man, I used to think, it's sunny outside, why am I in a boxing gym? But it's a price you pay. Like, you enjoy it, you get on with it. And when you're back to high school or back in college, people are talking about what they did in the summer holidays, but I'm just accounting for the training camps and everything that I've been doing. And it's been like that since, so it's a price to pay.
What do you see yourself doing after boxing?
After boxing? Hard to say, Rob, but it's hard to say because I don't think I'm near finishing boxing. I think people say, would you see yourself doing when you retire? Why? I'm not thinking about retirement at all. I haven't achieved anything yet. So it's like, let me achieve these things, then we could talk about that. So, but for me right now, it's not in my mind. As you know, if I didn't box, I'd want to be a pilot. So that's the other spin to it. Yeah.
Why a pilot?
I like planes, man.
Yeah?
Yeah. Even though when I'm in a plane, I'm thinking, bro, if this comes down now, what are we going to do? Or if there's a little shake, I'm like, did you feel that? Like stuff like that. I'm a bit like that, but I'd love to be a captain. Yeah.
For a second, I thought you were going to say, you're in a plane, and what happens if the pilot has a heart attack? I'll run up, I'll fly the plane. That's where I thought that story was going.
I can imagine doing it, but yeah. So to be a captain, a pilot, something like, I'd say if I didn't box, I would that's like what I want to be. Different, but yeah. Yeah,
that is different. I didn't necessarily expect that. I know you've said it to me before, but I didn't expect that to come out. Who's your biggest inspiration, Josh?
Biggest inspiration? Good question, I take inspiration from a lot of things and a lot of people and different things. The smallest thing will inspire me. And I'll be like, see that? I like that. There's a guy that I know, very, very rich guy. Bro, when I say rich, bro, I mean very, very rich. But with all the money that I think this person's got, I know this person's got a lot of money, yeah. It's inspirational because they are very simple, Rob. Wears very, very simple clothing. You never hear him brag or talk about money, but I'm like, you're really up. Like, I know you're a rich guy. But simple things, you're just looking from the outside and you wouldn't know unless you know about him and what he does. Then you could be like, this guy's really down to earth, humble guy. Won't talk about money, won't boast about money, hardworking. That's inspirational to me. I look at him and I think, yep, take a leaf out of the book. When the spotlight's there, he doesn't want to be seen. He's like, would rather be at the back. You guys take the light, but he knows what he's doing. So that's inspirational to me. One of my trainers, the most loyal man I know, dedicated man that I've ever known, always in the gym, no matter what, all the time. I've been in the amateur gym for about 8 years. He only missed 2 sessions, and that's because he was hospitalized. And I'm sure one of them, he even came to the boxing gym with the drip. He was holding it and he was saying, "Look, I'm here. Let's get to work." So inspiration from different people, man. Like people that are helping others. That's inspiring to me. But if there's, family members as well. I don't want to start dropping names because if I go home and they're like, "Oh, you forgot me, Josh," like, what are you talking about? So I'm trying to stay away from that. But yeah,
that's fair enough. I did wonder about that. I thought, I hope I've not stitched them up a little bit here. But while we're on the subject of your family, how's your mum?
My mum's good, man. Yeah? She's blessed. She's gonna watch this and she's gonna say, "Should have cut your beard?"
I was gonna say that was kind of where I was going.
On my way here, I put a poll on my Instagram. I said, "Should I keep my beard for the fight? Yes or no?" I'm telling you, it's about 80 to 20, 80%. I'm like, yep, keep it for the fight. So we'll see what happens.
You keep it till you become world champion.
Till I become world champion, boy. So
incentivize you to get on with it.
Right, but yeah, my mum's good. My mum's blessed.
And for people who don't know, your mum lives in Ghana.
She lives in Ghana, yeah. But again, always helping and supporting. The things she sends me on WhatsApp, prayers, encouraging me, and that for me is the best thing someone can do for me. Once I know you're praying for me, supporting me in that way, that's the best thing. So I'm grateful to have her, man.
Talk to me about your faith. It's always something that I'm interested to speak to you about. Have you always been a religious man? You were born into obviously a house that was, where religion obviously played a part. But how old were you when religion became so important and so central a figure in your life?
So I was born into a Christian family, X, Y, Z, in Ghana. Then I came to England. Then I started to play football a bit on Sundays, and a few incidents happened from, let's say, like year 7 onwards to like year 10 during high school times. And then so about 15, my mum kept on inviting me to church, and then I was like, yeah, I'll come. Then something bad happened, so I said, okay, cool, this has happened. Let me go to church and see what it's about. So that's when I went, and a message was preached, Rob, and I was like, wow, this is quite interesting. It's not what I thought it would be about or what I thought it was like. Again, a captivating message. So after that, I spoke to the man who preached and I asked more about it. Then that's kind of where it all began, and the interest in this whole thing about, I've always believed that there's a God, but in terms of everyone's got different opinions, different perspectives and everything, which I respect. But for me, I that's when I thought I found what I believe is God. And it's something that you have to work at, like a relationship. Like even with your friends, it's like you have to make the effort to keep in touch, to talk to them, to do this, to do that, to know about them, to study them, to learn about them. And I think it's the same with Christianity. The Bible is what I read, especially leading to fights. Rob, there's so many scriptures that I take from the Bible that without them, I don't know how I'd be getting in the ring to fight. I don't know the mindset that I'd be in. As you know, my brother's in my corner, Kevin, and he's there to pray for me and to encourage me, but the praise and the encouragement, they're coming all from the Bible. So for me, that's where the final touch is done. The hard work's been done in the gym. As I said, it's all mental now. Fight week is all mental. So once you get past that and you're telling me things that I've read in the Bible, stories in the Bible, of how God will show up, that he will not, leave me just hanging. Stuff like that is encouraging to me. And I think when we think about God, 9 out of 10, we always think about, just like caring and nice things and everything. But if you read, there were also men in the Bible that were men of war, men of fighting, and God shows up for them. He protects them. He helps them. So stuff like that I believe in big time. and it's a major part for me. And you know, like to be prayed for leading up to a fight in my changing room before I come out, stuff like that is important. Like it's very, very, very important, Rob. So again, different people have different opinions, and like I said, I respect that. But for me, what I then believe to find as God back when I was 15 till now, it's a continual thing. It's a daily thing. It's a daily battle because, as you know, there's so many distractions coming from London as well, man. Coming from Ghana to England, coming from London, so many distractions. So it's a continuous battle. Like, do I do this? Do I not do this? Do I go here? Do I not go here? But it is what it is. It's life, and it's every day.
It's an incredibly powerful message, and it's something that we have spoken about on occasion previously. With the way that the world is at the minute, I just wondered if there had been any, not changes, but how that had influenced kind of your outlook on the world, I guess. So that's kind of where I was thinking.
The same breath, Rob, yeah. This is what makes me very grateful about life. I think we could take things for granted, but even today, as I'm sat here with you, the reality is that somebody planned to wake up today, but they didn't. Somebody said to the missus, all right, cool, I'm traveling, I'll see you on Monday. They didn't wake up. A brother said to the sister, I'm going to see you tomorrow morning. They didn't get up. That's just the reality. As much as we take it for granted and everyone expects to wake up when they go to bed, so many people didn't wake up. So I'm always grateful for life and everything that I have. Just anything that happens, I'm grateful for it because, like I said, man, we take it for granted. People did not wake up today. People had their last sleep last night and that was it. Or people are going to pass away today. Like, it's just the reality of life. But we go to bed and we get up. You heard my alarm. I have the loudest alarm. When it goes off, I'm expecting to get up. But I believe God wakes everyone up. Like, God will certify you're getting up today. Cool. He gave life and he can take away life. So, yeah, I'm grateful for everything, man.
You mentioned that relationship with God and the relationship you have with Christianity. Have there, and you know, feel free to speak as openly or as not with regards to this. Have there ever been times where your faith has been brought into, no, maybe not question, but maybe that relationship you haven't felt it as strongly?
Well, yeah, a lot. Like I said, the constant battle with life. When I say life, in the terms of, like, you get up, you live in London, there's good people around, there's bad people around, you know both what you do, stuff like that. So there's always the constant battle. I think it's like when you're dieting as well. I know I shouldn't be eating. What do I like to eat without giving away too much? So let's say, for example, I know that Coke, Buatsi, you're not meant to have that Coke. But I've just finished a long run. I've had a good day of dieting and I'm thinking, just the Coke, it's not going to do any harm. But it's there. So it's like the battle of whether I have that Coke or not. Do you know what I mean? The Coke is always going to be there. So there's just that constant battle of life. I've come from the run. I feel good. Do I have water? Do I have a Coke? Which one is it? Not saying that I like Coke. I do like Coke actually. But yeah, after a run, I wouldn't drink a Coke. But the battle is there. Do you know what I mean? So there is almost that battle. Things happen where you question God, or you may question everything. You're like, damn, what's going on? But it's just believing. They say faith is believing in something that you cannot see. So although I can't say, oh yeah, I've seen God. Again, that's what faith is, believing in something that you cannot see. So, and we all demonstrate faith in life. We demonstrate it every time. You ordered an Uber for me today. You didn't see the Uber, but you had faith that he's going to show up at my house. I was outside my door waiting. I was like, I haven't seen the Uber, but you know what? Rob said the Uber's coming. So I'm outside believing the Uber man's going to come. And again, we take things for granted. You had no thought, and nor did I myself. I just sat in the car believing that I was going to get here safely. And I'm grateful for that because, like I said, bro, people don't get up. People get in a car and for all you know, that's it. So life is weird, man. Any little thing, it's like you got to be grateful for it. And I think about it, Rob, as well. You know, there's a lot of people that something's wrong with them and they're not well. And I think, what am I doing? Gambling in boxing. Like, I enter a sport where you're like, okay, cool, please, you can punch me in the head, you can do this, you can do that. So I take nothing for granted, man. For sparring, boxing, everything that we do, I feel we're all blessed to wake up and to, you know, have our conscious and to just have our faculties and just be like normal and to function and everything.
Without kind of, obviously, we spoke briefly about kind of the future or what potentially could lie for you after boxing. You mentioned there about, this is a dangerous sport. You can be legally killed in the ring. And as we've seen happen on terribly sad instances recently. Now, the last podcast that we did had Marko Watson in here, obviously former middleweight, who's now left with life-altering injuries because of injuries suffered against Chris Eubank in the ring. How often or how much do you think about things like that and think about the potential to be affected later on in life? Do you not allow yourself to think about things like that?
I think everything's dangerous in life. I think everything's dangerous, man. And specifically to my sport, I think these things can happen, but that's why I just think, you have to just get better defensively. Just learn as much as you can, do as much as you can. Do what you want to do in the sport and make sure after that you cut, make sure you're gone. Do you know what I mean? So it's there, but it's fight week. Am I thinking about it? Not at all. When I'm in that ring, does it even cross my mind? Not for a split second. When I'm away somewhere else doing another thing, I might be like, damn, this sport's quite dangerous. But it's fight week. It's not within my... I'm not thinking about it. Do you know what I mean? And on the way here, I was saying to the cab, man, there's a lot of benefits with boxing. I spoke about discipline, confidence. And there's a whole positive aspect of it that is not touched on a lot, but it exists. Do you know what I mean? And people turning their lives around and influencing others. You got Tyson Fury there. We also had a big comeback that he did.
We got AJ there, just for balance, by the way.
We got the big man there, Ruiz, winning a fight that everyone counted him out against. Wilder, probably the most heavy-handed. Is that a word? Basically, the most dangerous puncher ever, I would say, man. Do you know what I mean? So it changes lives, it gives opportunities, and that's one thing I've learned about boxing. It opens doors, man. Opportunities, you meet people, you make connects and everything. So there's a whole positive aspect to it as well.
Do you find that people are surprised when you tell them that you're a boxer?
Yeah. They think.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. They think. I think it's not common. Well, it is common, isn't it? Well, to us it is.
To us it is, because we're in a bubble. We're in that little bubble of it.
But even the guy today was like, so what'd you do? And I was like, I was running this morning. He's like, okay, yeah. Do you do athletics? Do you do football? I said, no, uncle, I do boxing. And he kind of turned around and said, you do boxing? I was like, yeah. And then we spoke about boxing for the whole journey. And I was just on my phone thinking, he knows nothing about boxing. That he was mad opinionated, but it's life, innit? Everyone's got an opinion. But yeah, man.
So particularly our sport as well, they see two men having a fight, and everybody's seen a fight at some point in their life, so everybody has some sort of experience. What was he talking to you about? Must have mentioned AJ.
Do you know what? So he said, who are the best heavyweights? I listed the top 4, the top 5, and he just spoke about what he thought about each and every one of them.
What did he say about AJ?
I was like, I've got... I'm laughing, because... he was mad opinionated. Then he said, actually, I haven't seen him fight before. Not AJ, but he spoke about White. Right. He spoke about White. He spoke about Fury. I was like, who do you think would win? He goes, this guy's good for this. This guy's not so good, X, Y, and Z. And then he spoke about Dylan White. And I was like, very good heavyweight from Brixton. And then he just said, actually, I didn't see his last fight, but, he shouldn't have lost. And I was like, very, very unfortunate. He got caught with a good shot. And I was like, it's heavyweight boxing, uncle. And then he was like, no, you're right. So he sounded like he knew a lot about it. Then when we got a bit deeper, he was like, I didn't even watch it. So I was like, you know what? Back on the phone. Yeah.
It's always the way when you kind of mention, you like boxing? I'm a big boxing fan. And you kind of brace yourself for it.
Trust me.
Did you watch any of the boxing over the weekend?
I didn't know.
There's still like 5 shows on, Josh.
I know, but it's all American times, isn't it?
No.
Which one was?
Josh Taylor was on.
I watched that one. Yeah, I watched Taylor.
Charlie
what was the
Edwards.
fight before? Yeah, that one. I watched Charlie's fight. I saw Josh's fight. I don't know what happened. It was a body shot, but the guy looked like he was in a lot of pain from it. Body shots are not nice, so I'm not even pointing fingers. Like, fair play to him. And do you know what I did see though? I saw a combination of Josh Taylor's last 5 opponents and their records, and it was like 101 and 1. I think. I don't know if I've
it's somewhere around there. Yeah, he's
so,
only one of them had a loss previously, which was Postol to Terence Crawford.
Yeah, exactly. So hats off to him, man. Good champion. He's a good champion.
When you see like Josh Taylor, I mean, he's gone at things at a rate of knots. And I understand and appreciate everybody's different, but there are a lot of boxing fans who will be watching this who want that from you, who think that you're talented enough that you could have had 15, 16 fights and been world champion. What do you think to that?
I think, firstly, different weight categories, different threats in each weight. And then I also think that my coach, my trainers, they're like going to be like, okay, cool, you've learned. For the level that you're at, you've learned enough. You're well equipped to go to world level. If they don't think so, then it's like, why would I go there? If the guys that are looking at me daily in the gym, whereas the fans may see me when I box, but the people that are seeing me every day are like, okay, you're learning what you need to learn, or you haven't quite learned what you need to learn. I think their opinion is more valued than that, because they can be like, okay, cool, you're ready to go, off you go. Because when it's all said and done, Rob, you know what's happening? When you get in that ring, I make jokes with all my friends, they all touch gloves like in the ring when I'm there with them, and they're like, good luck, Josh. And they all get out. And it's left to the fighter, the individual, to fight. So I think if you're going to be in a fight just because people think you're good enough, and the people that see you every day don't think you're ready, then you've played yourself. Because once you get in there and you're not ready, only you's going to get hit, only you's going to take the punishment. So, but I do understand there's a demand. You watch someone, you're thinking, he's good enough. But like I said, seeing somebody box a few times a year in comparison to somebody that's seen them every day in the gym, it's like, okay, who's got a more accurate analysis about that person? And it's clearly the guy that's watching you every day. So that's kind of where I stand at it. Yeah,
it's well said. It's a conversation I've actually had with Anthony Yarde previously, 18 months ago, and it comes from a place of it's a compliment, if anything, that people do look at you and go, you know, for example, this weekend you're boxing Marko Calic. You know all about Marko Calic. I know some about Marko Calic. A lot of your everyday man on the street won't know anything about Marko Calic, but they may have seen you box and they may think, like, you know, who is this guy? Why is Josh Buatsi not going ahead and not pushing on? And it's just, as I say, I do feel like it should really be taken as a compliment by somebody like you.
I'll take it then, Rob. Yeah, I'll take it. But like I said, man, people do have opinions, and this is like the pressure we spoke about. It exists, it happens. It's just one of those things.
Okay, well, before I let you go, I mean, we caught up about 3 or 4 weeks ago in Sheffield, but it's always great to speak to you, and particularly ahead of your showcase event this weekend, man. Headlining. You looking forward to headlining? I
am. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to just being back in the ring, Rob. It's been over a year, as we said, man. So to finally have an opponent, a fixed date, and to go through the whole process again in different circumstances, but as I said, man, the result and the outcome will still be the same. It is what it is.
And how much are you looking forward to getting in the ring? And I know that you don't certainly pander to external pressures, and it's kind of what we've spoke about here, and it's very much sort of your own pressure that you put on yourself. But there surely must be an element of you that's looking forward to reminding everybody what Joshua Buatsi is all about this weekend.
Yeah, man. As I say, when you box, it's a time to sell yourself. The canvas, you know, you're in there, you're like, this is me. Sell yourself, because people will be watching, and you display how good you are, what you can do, the potential that you've got, and the excitement that you're going to bring. So I'm looking forward to all of that. Even my kit's arriving tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing it and everything. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
Get that Buatsi fight, Buatsi Yarde next year. I'm trying my best.
Listen, we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm doing what I'm doing. He's doing what he's doing. If it happens, it'll be good. It will be good for it to happen with a live crowd at least, isn't it? Like,
I do definitely agree.
Yeah, man. If it happens, I'll be ready. He'll be ready.
Let me just set the scene for you, right? Okay, so we're in July 2021.
Okay, yeah.
Joshua Buatsi's just knocked out knocked out Marko Calic in September the year before. Anthony Yarde, Lyndon Arthur, has knocked out Lyndon Arthur. You're on a collision course. It's the O2 Arena. 18,000 fans there. Mad. It's Buatsi Yarde. It's, sorry guys, pay-per-view. How excited would that make you to get that fight done?
Very. Do you know what? I was at the O2 Arena last week. I went there. I had to meet someone there, and I was with my mate. And I just said to him, "Imagine, like, we're here now, and it doesn't seem like the O2 that we know." But I was like, "Imagine boxing here, sold out, main event, pay-per-view against Yarde. Like, not specifically against Yarde, but just being here. But for what we're saying now, against Yarde. imagine that. So who wouldn't want to be in that? Good fight, man.
Very, very good fight. What did you make of his performance against Dex Spellman before we let you go?
I saw the first 2 rounds. I watched who boxed before. I think it was, I want to say it was
Esserman. He was on that card.
then
Cedric
Heffron-
Payno.
Heffron
Heffron against Denzel Bentley.
Yeah, that's the fight that I tuned in to watch. So I stayed a bit longer just to watch the first 2 of his, and I went. But it's a good fight, good performance. From what I saw, anyways, it looked comfortable. So, what more? Yeah.
Again, he's essentially a year-ish out of the ring as well. If
Yeah,
he
man.
was the week before you. He was August the 24th. I remember because it was my mum's birthday.
Yeah, cool.
And also, I was actually at a friend of mine's wedding and had to go downstairs for an hour and watch the fight on my phone at a friend's wedding.
Yeah,
so sorry, that's where I went off to for an hour. But yeah, always.
He got the win in, and I think he's boxing Arthur next, which will be a good fight.
You know Lyndon, don't you, from the amateur
yeah,
setup?
Yeah, Lyndon's a good guy as well, man. Cool guy. I know him. His cousin, Flash.
Zelfa,
good guy. Great knockout in his last fight as well, man.
Okay, well, Josh, always a pleasure. I do appreciate your time taking
Thanks
out
for
of a
having
busy
me, man.
fight week. Always a
good.
pleasure to catch up with you. I think I'm going to be in the bubble with you this week, so I think I'll get to see
days.
you.
Cool.
I might shave you myself and give you a little.
I might keep this. We still don't know.
The people will speak, and we will
Yeah,
listen to the
yeah.
people. But the people might be overruled by Marko Buatsi, though, unfortunately.
That's what I'm saying.
But Joshua Buatsi, always a pleasure. Class act.
Appreciate
Thanks
that.
very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
Cheers,
I'll
man.
catch up with you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
Cheers, Josh.